La 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 ಪಶ್ಚಿಮ ಘಟ್ಟದ ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ದಟ್ಟದ ಮರಗಳನ್ನುಳಿಸಲು ನಡೆವಾ ದನಿ ಎತ್ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮನದೊತ್ತರದುಲಿ ಮಾನವ ಕೋಟಿಗೆ ಕರೆ ಕೊಡುವ ಪಶ್ಚಿಮ ಘಟ್ಟದ ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ದಟ್ಟದ ಮರಗಳನ್ನುಳಿಸಲು La 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 ಪಶ್ಚಿಮ ಘಟ್ಟದ ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ದಟ್ಟದ ಮರಗಳನ್ನುಳಿಸಲು ನಡೆವಾ ದನಿ ಎತ್ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮನದೊತ್ತರದುಲಿ ಮಾನವ ಕೋಟಿಗೆ ಕರೆ ಕೊಡುವ ಪಶ್ಚಿಮ ಘಟ್ಟದ ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ದಟ್ಟದ ಮರಗಳನ್ನುಳಿಸಲು ನಡೆವಾ ದನಿ ಎತ್ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮನದೊತ್ತರದುಲಿ ಮಾನವ ಕೋಟಿಗೆ ಕರೆ ಕೊಡುವ
This beautiful land of hills and rivers is home to 8-year-old Shruti. But Shruti's life is not all perfect. Born with a malformed leg and hands, Shruti has had to hop on one leg all her life. A week before we met her, her leg was amputated and she was fitted with a prosthetic limb. Shruti is happy. She knows she's much luckier than the other children here. Last year, Shruti decided she wanted to go to school. But the road uphill was not easy for her to negotiate. Her mother was determined not to let Shruti's handicap come in the way. Every day, she carries Shruti up the hill from their home to the lower primary school in the village of Vani Nagar.
ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಯಾವುದು? ನಮ್ಮ ಕೇರಳ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಟ್ಟು ಎಷ್ಟು ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗಳಿವೆ? ನಮ್ಮ ಕೇರಳ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಪಟ್ಟಣ ಯಾವುದು? ಈಗ ನಾವು ಕಾಸರಗೋಡು ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪಂಚಾಯತ್ ಯಾವುದು? ಹೆಣ್ಮಕಜ ಪಂಚಾಯತ್. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಪಂಚಾಯತ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಹೋಗುವ.
Narayana Master is a teacher at the lower primary school. Over the last couple of years, he's been noticing a disturbing decline in his students' health.
എൻ്റെ സർവീസ് ഇവിടെ 1982 സ്റ്റാർട്ടാണ് ഇവിടെ. അപ്പോൾ 492 കുട്ടികൾ ഈ സ്കൂളിൽ പഠിക്കുന്നുണ്ടായി. ഈ സ്കൂളിൽ അപ്പോൾ മൊത്തമായിട്ട് 2 കുട്ടികൾ മാത്രം ഈ സ്കൂളിൽ മെൻ്റൽ റിട്ടാർഡേഷൻ ആയിട്ടുണ്ടായി. ഇപ്പോൾ 646 കുട്ടികൾ പഠിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് ഇവിടെ. +2 വരെ ക്ലാസ് ഉണ്ട്. അതിൽ LP സെക്ഷനിൽ 150 കുട്ടികൾ പഠിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അതിൽ LP സെക്ഷനിൽ മാത്രം 9 കുട്ടികൾ മെൻ്റൽ റിട്ടാർഡേഷൻ, 5 കുട്ടികൾ അസ്തമ, 2 കുട്ടികൾ വിഷ്വൽ, 1 കുട്ടി ഹാർട്ട് പേഷ്യൻറ്റ്, പിന്നെ 1 കുട്ടി സ്കിൻ, പിന്നെ 2 കുട്ടികൾ ഇയർ പെയിന്, പിന്നെ IQ അതിൽ 21 കുട്ടികൾ ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ട്. അത് ഇല്ല, ഇതല്ലാതെ ഈ കുട്ടികളല്ലാതെ അത്ര IQ ലോ IQ ആയിട്ട് ഇവിടെ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ഇവിടെ പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ട്.
These numbers alarmed the teachers so much it was brought up at the school teachers' meeting. Some puzzling facts came up at this time.
അപ്പോൾ ഈ കുട്ടികൾ ഏത് ഭാഗത്തിന് വരുന്ന കുട്ടികൾ, അധിക അസുഖമുള്ള കുട്ടികൾ ഏത് ഭാഗത്തിൽ ഈ സ്കൂളിൻ്റെ ഏത് സൈഡിന് വരുന്ന കുട്ടികളും അത് ഈ സ്കൂളിൻ്റെ വെസ്റ്റ് സൈഡ്, ബാക്ക് സൈഡ് പറഞ്ഞാൽ വെസ്റ്റ് സൈഡാണ്. വെസ്റ്റ് സൈഡിന് ನಮ್ಮ സ്കൂൾക്ക് ഈ LP സെക്ഷനുക്ക് 40% കുട്ടികൾ വരുന്നുണ്ട്. ഈ 40% കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ഇങ്ങനത്തെ പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ട്.
വെസ്റ്റ് സൈഡിൽ എന്താണ് പ്രത്യേകത?
വെസ്റ്റ് സൈഡിൽ നമ്മ പ്രത്യേകതമായിട്ട് പ്ലാന്റേഷൻ, PCK പ്ലാന്റേഷൻ കോർപ്പറേഷൻ ഓഫ് കേരള കശുവണ്ടി തോട്ടം ഉണ്ട് അടുത്ത്. അപ്പോൾ അതിന് ഒരു വർഷത്തിൽ 3 പ്രാവശ്യം എൻഡോസൾഫാൻ പറയുന്ന ഒരു വിഷം അതിന് തളിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
Narayana Master took his findings to Dr. Mohana Kumar. The doctor was not surprised. Dr. Mohana Kumar is the only doctor for the 6,000 to 7,000 people of Vaninagar and surrounding villages. Over the last 20 years, he has observed dramatic changes in the health of the community, especially the children. In 1997, 6 years ago, his findings were published in a leading health journal.
Psychosis, cancer, death, mental retardation, psychiatry, epilepsy, congenital anomalies, suicides, total 4 square kilometer per day. Population 2,000 people. 200 cases, 126 houses.
Originally, thick forests covered the hills of Kasargod. Farmers cleared land for cultivating fields of areca, coconut and other crops. Later, the hills were completely denuded to make way for the state-run cashew plantation, with the result that mostly all you see now are cashew trees. About 30 years ago, the Plantation Corporation of Kerala, or the PCK, used helicopters to spray the hilltops with a pesticide called endosulfan. With their absolute faith in the government, the naive residents viewed the helicopters as a sign of progress.
It's a delight to see the helicopter hovering above us and spraying the mist. It was just like when the jet plane goes now, you can see the smoke. It was just like, it was very beautiful, fascinating scene.
Endosulfan is sprayed over these hills to protect the cashew flowers from the tea mosquito. Like other residents here, Dr. Shripati says that farmers have always treated cashew as a wild plant that needs little or no care.
Now this tree is about 10-year-old. Yield may be about 20 to 30 kgs per year, and I don't spray anything on it. It's a wild crop, like you just go there to pick the fruits and nuts. That's all. No maintenance, zero maintenance.
What about the tea mosquito?
I have not seen it, but again I consulted some agricultural scientists. They say that it is there. You can see only in the early mornings during cloudy season, and that time they say you can see through your naked eyes if you are very observant. I have not seen it.
Evidence of tea mosquito notwithstanding, a case against pesticides was slowly building up. Shri Padre, a farmer journalist, had also started putting things together.
Now, one gentleman, one farmer from near Perla, he invited me saying that there is some unusual happening in his cattle shed. 4 cows were born with twisted limbs successively to different cows. So over a period of 1.5 years, the 3 cows they didn't survive for long. But his house is very near the plantation corporation's gardens, and all the cows, they were going for grazing and they were drinking water from one particular tank. Wherever it is stall fed, the cows are stall fed, he hasn't seen such problems. Wherever it is allowed for grazing in the morning and is brought back in the evening, such problems are. And the places he mentions like Somaji and all Cashew Corporation's plantation.
The repercussions this slow poisoning would take on human life were unforeseen.
See, all the plantation corporation's gardens are situated at the hilltop. This topography here is just like a bowl or like a funnel. So when they spray with aircrafts there on the top, they are contaminating the whole environment, because the rainwater which falls on the hilltops, that gets percolated, and most of us, we are having a unique type of water body here called Suranga. It is man-made caves for water.
Water from the hills is canalized through the surangas into reservoirs. This is the only source of water here, used for everything from drinking to irrigation.
We have 900 houses in Padre. Out of these 900 houses, 1/3 are situated just at stone's throw from the borders of plantation. If there is a spray at the hilltop, there is no way you can insulate the community from poisoning.
The incessant spraying has led to an accumulation of endosulfan in the soil, water, and everything that feeds off it. Most of Dr. Mohanukumar's patients who are falling mysteriously ill live along the Kodankeri stream. About 40 families live here. In Kasargod, normalcy is relative. It's not unusual to find that every member of a single family has a serious illness.
This is a case of cerebral palsy. He is about 23 years old. His mother was working in the plantations for many years. She used to go and pick up the cashew, and they are drinking the water from this Kodankeri stream. And her another son is 16 years old. He is suffering from mental retardation. Another girl was there. She was suffering from epilepsy and she fell into the stream and died about 5 years back.
Walking along the stream is a lesson in bioaccumulation. The water from the stream goes straight into the wells and the fields to irrigate the crops. Over the years, toxic residues that enter the coconuts and other crops gradually accumulate within the human system. Other changes were starting to make sense to the people.
In the initial years when I started my practice, every day I used to come across jackals, in this place. Many. One day I came across 3 in a group. Since 10 years I have not seen a single one. Another thing is python. During the last spray on the night of that day, December 26th last year, I had seen 2 pythons running from this plantation area. Actually they are such a lazy creatures. Even they are not able to survive inside the plantation. Honey bees are the first victims of endosulfan. If you spray a single shot, next day whole colonies will be wiped out.
The Edamalai brothers remember a time when their father had over 50 colonies. They noticed that after every spray, their bee colonies were dying. When empty bee boxes started filling their barn, Aravinda Edamalai correlated both the decline of the bees and the community health to the endosulfan sprays. The situation could not be tolerated anymore. Something had to be done.
Aravinda Edamalai is a teacher here. He approached me one day saying that we are going to stop the helicopter tomorrow. I said, why? He said, as you know, there are health problems and there is a problem on environment, and in some areas they have already started agitation. So we are going to stop it tomorrow. So when I reached there only, I saw the problem there, because there were hardly about 20 to 30 people and nobody was listening to them. Then I had to go and argue their case with the pilot and with the authorities of the PCK. They never listened to us. They said, if you have any problem, just complain to the police station. And if you have any health problems, get compensation from the concerned authorities. They said, we have all the papers, including the papers from insecticide board. They were bluffing on the face of. From the beginning, they are saying they are spraying the medicine. So that has gone into the brain. It's very difficult for them to say that it's poison that they are spraying.
This was in December 2000. The public outcry, the first against pesticides in Kasaragod, prompted the Centre for Science and Environment to come down from New Delhi and carry out detailed tests. The writing was on the wall. The analysis done in February 2001, 2 months after the last spray, revealed high levels of endosulfan in almost everything they tested, right from coconuts to butter to human blood. As a result of this, the government and the court banned the aerial spraying of endosulfan in Kasaragod. After months of going to court and documenting evidence against endosulfan, this was a huge achievement for the people here. It's been a little more than a year since a toxic pesticide has been sprayed over these hills, and already many changes can be seen. Signs of life are returning to the silenced hills. There are other heartwarming signs as well, that given a chance, nature loses no time in healing past wounds.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಲ್ಲಮ್ಮ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಲ್ಲು, ನಿನಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕಡು ತೆಗಿತೇನೆ, ಜಾಗ್ರತೆ ಬೇಕು ನೋಡು, ನೋಡು ಹೇಗುಂಟು. 10-15 ವರ್ಷಗಳಾಗಾಯ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, 15 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ. ಈಗ ಎಂಡೋಸಲ್ಫಾನ್ ಬಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕುಟುಂಬ ಇಡೀ ನಾಶ ಆಯಿತು. ಈಗ ಅದು ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಬಿಡದ ಕಾರಣ ಈಗ 2 ಕುಟುಂಬವನ್ನು ನಾನು ಹಿಡಿದು ಹೀಗೆ ಸಾಕಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಅದರ ನಂತರ ಅದ್ದಿದ್ದು, ಮುಂಚೆ ಇದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತೋ. ನೋಡು, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದರದ್ದು ತತ್ತಿ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಇಟ್ಟದ್ದು. ಎಂಡೋಸಲ್ಫಾನ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ. ಎಂಡೋಸಲ್ಫಾನ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ನುಣ ಇದೇ ನೋಡಮುಂಟಲ್ಲ ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಹೂವಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಜೇನು ಹಿರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಆ ವಿಷವನ್ನು ಇದನ್ನು ತಿಂದು ಅದು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವುದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಸತ್ತೇ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಹೌದು, ಅಥವಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಮುಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು ಗೂಡಿನ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೋಗುವುದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಸತ್ತೇ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ 10-22 ಕುಟುಂಬ ಇದ್ದದ್ದು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಹೋಯಿತು. ഇട്ടുവിടും. ഇവിടുന്ന് നേരെ ഇങ്ങനെ പാടിയാടി നിങ്ങൾ ആ ഗേട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് അങ്ങേ ആ കുന്ന് കാണുന്നില്ലേ, കുന്ന് കണ്ടില്ലേ, ആ കുന്നിലേക്ക് ഇവിടുന്ന് ഇങ്ങനെ അവിടെ നിന്ന് ഇപ്പോൾ ഇന്ന് മഞ്ഞില്ലായിരുന്നു, അതേപോലെ പോകുന്നു.
The bees were coming back and the pesticide was banned. We thought we had the perfect happy ending. Our complacence, however, was unfounded. The same symptoms of pesticide poisoning were reported across the border in Karnataka. On our way, we stopped at a government-run cashew nursery. The saplings here are replanted at the cashew plantations. We were curious to see what pesticides, if any, were being used here. The attendant told us that he had been asked to stop using endosulfan as it was harmful. He also knew that the aerial sprays had been banned. He was now manually spraying high sulfan on the saplings, a pesticide with 35% endosulfan content. The two main areas here are the villages of Kokkada and Patrame. These villages were surrounded by forests till about 30 years ago. They were then cleared to make way for the cashew plantations. The aerial spraying of endosulfan started here in the 80s. Sridhar and Joseph Pereira took us to the Kapila river to explain the cycle of contamination in these parts.
ವಿಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ ಈ ಮಧ್ಯ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಎರಡು ಸೈಡಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟೇಶನ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಈ ಬದಿಯಿಂದ ಆ ಬದಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ಈ ನದಿಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೀಳ್ತದೆ. ಮತ್ತೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಉಳಿದ ನೀರನ್ನು ಏನು ಅದರ ಡ್ರಮ್ ಏನಿದೆ ವಿಷದ್ದು ಅದನ್ನು ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ನದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ತೋಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನದಿಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಪ್ರಾಶನ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದಲ್ಲದೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆವಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಈ ವಿಷ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವರೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಮಾನ ನಿಲ್ತದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಈ ಮಣ್ಣನ್ನು ಬಂದು ನದಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಿ ಅದರಿಂದ ಮೀನು ಕೂಡ ಹಿಡಿತಿದ್ರು.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ 7,000 ಜನ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು 2,000 ಜನರಿಗೆ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸಾಧಾರಣ ಒಂದು 500 ಜನರಿಗೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದರಿಂದ ತೊಂದರೆಗಳು ನಮಗೆ ಕಾಣಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಗ್ತವೆ, ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾಣಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಗ್ತವೆ. ತುಂಬ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ನಡಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಲಗಿದಲ್ಲೇ ಉಂಟು ಮಕ್ಕಳು. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕೈಕಾಲು ನೋವು ಬಂದು ಅವರು ನಡೆದಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮುದುಕರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅಲರ್ಜಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ದಮ್ಮು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ಯಾರಲೈಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಂಗಸರಿಗೆ ಮಹಿಳಾ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳು ಬಂದಿದೆ.
ಅದೇ ಒಂದು ಕೊಕ್ಕಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂತೋಷ ಚೆರ್ಕಂಡೆ ಬಿದ್ದೆ ಚೆರ್ಕಂಡೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಿಕ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
Santosh is 11 years old. His mother cannot explain the reasons for his affliction. All she knows is that she's not alone. There are many other families right in her neighborhood where the children are similarly affected. There could be many other reasons that lead to such tragedies, but even experts were hard-pressed to come up with anything sound. Echoes of what Dr. Mohanakumar had said came back to us.
Nutritionally, we can't say there is poverty. At least families have enough to eat at least 2 meals per day. Nobody is starving here. The weather is very pleasant here. So what else can be there?
With no industries or polluting plant in the area, there isn't even another source of contamination. The one common factor is the cashew plantation and the regular aerial spraying of endosulfan over the hills. Kunjan is 21 years old. Endosulfan is a neurological poison, an endocrine disruptor, and a genotoxin. This means that the hormonal and reproductive systems are tampered with. As a genotoxin, it interferes with the genetic material. This means that anomalies can be carried over to the next generation as well.
One of the problems with the group of chemicals what we call as persistent organic pollutants is you cannot smell it very well. You have a smell but it needn't give anything nauseating kind of thing. You can't feel it and it just be present there. Like in the case of endosulfan here, immediately after spray for 1 week you feel the smell. But at least for 800 days, endosulfan is there in the soil, but you don't feel it. You can't touch it, you can't smell it, you can't see it, but it is already there. And all these 800 days, it slowly gets into your body. And when it gets into your body, it is by and large fat soluble. So it stays there. And it took a lot of years for accumulating and showing visibly as a disease.
As Narayan Master prays for the health of his family and community, he does not seek any ready-made answers. All his family asks for is the unflagging will to bring back some elements of normalcy to their once idyllic life.
ನಾಳೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಗುಡ್ಡ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕಾಣಸಿಕ್ಕನು
ಮನೆಯ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅರ್ಥ ಗುಡ್ಡ
ಮನೆಯ ಹಿಂಬದಿ
ತುಂಟರೊಡನೆ ಆಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದ ಬಾಳ ಚಂದದಿ
Narayan Master's family is not untouched by the spate of ill health that plagues the community. But this is not what he shares in common with the other people of Kasaragod. In spite of everything they've been through, leaving their home and moving elsewhere is not an option. There are probably no places left on the planet that are free of contamination. But there are places where the will to fight for one's right to pure air and water remain untarnished.